everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Tamitou here. So today's build is going to be this ugly little house, as you can tell by the title. So yeah, I'm using the word ugly obviously loosely, just because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, don't forget. But I meant as in the shape of it. It's a little bit odd. It's got a kind of odd roof, and fun fact, it's actually inspired by a house right near my house. So I saw it once going past, and I thought, oh hey, I've never seen a house with a roof like this that kind of has these two slopes coming down and then this center bit, and I just thought it's so odd. Like, no wonder other houses aren't like that. I personally don't like the roof on the top, so yeah, I thought I'd build it, and I had to kind of make up the rest of it around the back and stuff. So it is very British looking, but that's not to say that all British houses are ugly. That's not what I'm saying. There's a lot that I like, but yeah, so around the back I decided to add this like conservatory, which is quite a British looking conservatory. The only thing is we can't obviously add windows into the roof. I did mess around with the idea of kind of adding that awning to make the glass roof, you know, the classic thing of adding it, raising it up and deleting the roof and stuff, but it just didn't work out with the shape, so I just ended up leaving it. But I think the idea is still there, so it's I like it at the end. But yeah, first of all, before sort of getting into the rest of the build, I just wanted to say hi to any new subscribers recently. Thank you so much, first of all, for subscribing. I really hope you're enjoying the content and that you continue to enjoy it. And if you have any suggestions or anything, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to read that. But yeah, I just wanted to say welcome. So I really appreciate it. It literally puts a smile on my face all day when I see a new subscriber. So yeah, really happy to have you here. And also, if you are watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, because that's my very polite British way of asking, but you'll really you'll love it if you do. So you'll love the builds, I'm sure. So for this sort of front area, it was the perfect like 3-tile sort of wide section to add the door and like this center window upstairs. So it took me a while to figure out the door. I don't think this is the final one I go with either. And then I did add this like classic red brick for the main portion of the build on the outside, which is like a classic brick that you would see on a lot of British houses. And then the center bit is kind of a more older like cottagey looking brick. And I didn't try to go for ugly swatches, but I tried to go for like dated swatches that maybe didn't go together so well, but they just have been put together over the years. Like extensions have been added and different bricks have been added. So yeah, that's how that works. And for the conservatory, or the sunroom, whatever you might call it, I don't know what you might call it elsewhere, but in the UK we call it a conservatory. It's quite a popular thing to add on the back of your house, and they usually have these spiky things on the roof, so I added those. And yeah, that's got the newest brick, so it's got this like really nice like really formed, or what's the word, like really nice sleek brick. It's not like messy or anything or worn. It's really nice and new. Yeah, so here's where I'm trying to add this awning, but it just didn't work out with the shape, so I just left that. You can use your imagination, pretend it's like that. So yeah, you can kind of see now the ugly shape we've got going on. It's just odd really, but it was a lot of fun to build, I'll be honest, so kind of glad that I saw it while we were going past. So another thing I wanted to talk about in this video, which I'm really excited about, so I'm currently recording this on the 23rd of May, and it's in the evening for me here in the UK. So we've just gotten a tweet from the Sims official account. Like, it wasn't just from a sim guru or anything, it was from the official Sims account, and it just said that they were basically going to announce something tomorrow, and it came with a GIF of like a scarecrow and a like part of a sim that you can see like leaning in, and he has a coat and a scarf, and the scarecrow is obviously like an autumn related thing, and there was like trees in the background that were autumn colored, so everyone is freaking out, and we're pretty sure it's seasons, but obviously we don't want to get our hopes up at this point. So I just thought that was really exciting to mention. Obviously I'm not sure when I'm going to post this video, but if it's after the announcement, then I really hope it was that. I mean, I'll probably know by now, by the time you're listening. But yeah, I'm so excited about it. I just had to mention it. And so for downstairs, you can see the conservatory. I've added the laundry day windows, like the bay windows with the shelves or the whatever, the stone inside. I had to make the second floor into a 2, like the middle height instead of the lowest height. I didn't really ideally want it for the rest of the house, but I did want to use those windows. And I actually do think they would fit on a 1, but they just always put them in the 2 category anyway. And I really like the other modern windows I used as well, and the hexagonal shape. It's just a mix of windows usually makes a build look a lot more realistic. So there's some old, some newer that you can see all over the house. So I'm just adding these shrubs along like the foundation of the house just to make it look quite lived in, like it's been there a while, it's a settled property. And then I'm adding this hedging that is really popular in the UK. For some reason it's more popular than having like fences or walls. A lot of houses are divided by huge like 6-foot high hedges, so I just wanted to use that just to kind of give that more British vibe again. And then I do add like a bit of landscaping as well outside later. So I added, when I added the stairs and went to go and add the floor plan, I really wanted the stairs to lead up to the top window on the first floor. So I had to like flip them around. So it kind of is a bit of an odd, cramped floor plan, but again, that's how British houses are. They're quite small, so it still has everything you need. There are 2 bedrooms upstairs and this like sizable shared bathroom, and then there's also like a little toilet downstairs just next to the kitchen here. So and along with the conservatory as well, there's actually 2 living spaces. So you know, technically one of those could be a bedroom if you wanted to add more space for more Sims. So the living room that I'm about to finish now is a bit tricky. It's kind of a long shape, and I definitely, like, I had to have a fireplace in there. I just thought that'd be really typical thing that's probably been in the house since it was built, and it's kind of like they had to furnish around it, and it was a bit awkward. Don't forget, it's meant to be a bit ugly. So yeah, I kind of didn't know where to go with the color scheme or anything. I ended up using a lot of cats and dogs items in there, but I did take a lot of footage out just because it took me a while to get the flow of it, and it's not my favorite room at all. So I think I prefer the conservatory. Actually, I'd probably be spending most of my time out there. And I ended up using a lot of this like pine wood color. I used a lot of the same swatches from the cats and dogs like items, and the similar one obviously for these kitchen counters. And it's actually a really sizable kitchen. Most kitchens here are not that big, I don't think. So this is kind of maybe put in as a more modern addition to the house, but it's still like the swatches they picked or the counters they picked are just old looking anyway, so but it is meant to be like a family house, so it's quite warm and cozy, and all the kind of warm wood swatches that I picked. So there's a kids room upstairs that has 2 children's beds, so obviously you can change them up, but yeah, it fits them pretty well, and there's still space for like toys and stuff. So you saw me add the round dining table in the conservatory. It just fitted really well in that spot. And then I add another rectangular dining table in the kitchen as well. The kitchen's really nice. I think it's maybe like the main hangout room of the house, like where like everything happens, like they do their homework and the parents are cooking food or whatever, you know, it's like everything's happening here. And then they've obviously opted for this extra extension on the back just for some more light, because the house doesn't have a lot of light. Once I'd added all the awkward roofing, there wasn't much space for windows, so I had to kind of put them in the spaces, and that was it. So there's not a lot of natural light coming in. And I went for all like matching like little appliances in the kitchen. I wanted it all to look really matchy. So none of it really fits together. Like each of the rooms are really different to each other in a lot of ways. Yeah, and that's just why it's odd and a bit ugly. But I wanted to try some new things, and I'm trying to put things together that I don't normally pair together, just to give a different, more interesting look, because it can get boring when you put the same things together every single time, like I sometimes do. So for the conservatory, I wanted to add another small seating space, and I usually opt for these wicker sofas and chairs for like an outdoorsy room, just because they work so well, and it's typical of what furniture you would find in real life there. So I actually decided to go for this green swatch for once, and I thought, why not? There's a bit of that kind of pastel green throughout the house, and I thought, well, instead of using the same old dark brown swatch I use every time, I just decided to go for the green. I really like it. It just brings out the green from the floor tiles as well. So and here I wanted to add some sort of blind so that I could also it would look a little bit more full at the top. It was a little bit empty, and I figured using the My First Pet ones, when you size it down, so if it's a 2x2 or if it's a 2 tile window, use the 3 and size it down, and if it's a 1, use the 2 and size it down, and then it fits the same level. So yay, discovered that. And then back to the living room, I'm just adding a lot more of this sort of brown on the photo frames and the tables and things, and it's just quite a soft, bland room. Everything kind of is vanilla and it just kind of blends in together. There's nothing that really sticks out. So yeah, it's just kind of the cozy room that's gotten left over the years. It's gotten a bit neglected as far as like renovations are concerned. But I'd be really interested to know if you downloaded this and refurnished it yourself, maybe what style would you go for? I'd love to see, I don't know if anyone would even do that, but I'd love to see what you'd come up with, because I just overall wasn't happy with the interior just because I was trying new things, like I said. So I'd love to see what you would do with it. I prefer the upstairs. I think I like the more modern touch of the upstairs rooms. But yeah, I didn't want it to be too country or too rustic like it is downstairs. So upstairs it's a little bit more modern and a little bit more industrial, maybe, with this like brick wallpaper. I actually had no choice with that brick wallpaper because of the roofing, the wallpaper's for the roofing, and it just automatically applies to that wall and you can't change it. So if you change it, it will change the one for the roof. So it had to remain that brick color, which made it interesting because both bedrooms have this like brick feature wall, and I think it actually turns out to look really cool, and I think it looks like the best part of the room. So for this room, I just used the blue to contrast with like the red and orange tones in the wood, and I really like the bed actually. It's quite a rustic kind of country bed, but it works really well with the wallpaper, I think. And it's got a little bit more of a modern touch here and there, like the painting I just put, and since there's no room for bedside tables, all the clutter had to be like on the bed frame, so it was just a bit different. So here I just added blue wallpaper again to contrast, and I figured maybe this could be a boy-girl room, a boy-boy room, or even a girl-girl room. Just because it's blue, it doesn't mean it's like just for boys, so I wanted it to look a bit more neutral. Yeah, so I just add a cool little desk space, maybe homework space this end of the room, and I actually like how it turned out a little bit more than downstairs. So yeah, it turned out to be like my favorite feature, but I think most of all I actually like the outside. So anyway, I'm just going to add the bins and the final touches, and then we're going into the screenshots. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.